Hi, it's Amber here. In this video, we will go over everything Gantt chart related, so you can learn to create an effective Gantt chart in Excel and PowerPoint. I will go through the following topics. First, I will explain what a Gantt chart is and the elements it consists of. Then I will show some different examples of Gantt charts and discuss when to use them. Thereafter, I will make a Gantt chart using Ampler in PowerPoint. These steps are equally important when using other tools. I am also going to create Gantt charts without any add-ins, both in PowerPoint and Excel. At last, I will clarify important elements you need to check to make sure you have made an effective chart, and discuss when to use alternative tools instead of Gantt charts. I will provide some examples. Feel free to skip to the chapters in the video you're interested in. Now let's start with what a Gantt chart is. The Gantt chart is one of the most frequently used project management tools and was first popularized by American consultant Henry Gantt. The chart is a project scheduling tool in the form of a horizontal bar chart that shows the visual timeline of a project schedule, helping keeping track of a project's progress. To clarify some more, Gantt charts breaks the project into individual tasks. It contains the full project schedule, including deadlines, show task dependencies, and finally, who these tasks are assigned to. Sometimes they also include a budget. Let's focus on the individual components that make up the Gantt chart. As you can see on the left vertical axis, a Gantt chart has a task list that describes the tasks required for the project. These are sometimes organized in subgroups. On the other end, you can see the responsibility column, which indicates the person or the team responsible for completion of a task. The timeline of the project runs on the horizontal axis. It can show hours, weeks, days, months, or even years. Some Gantt charts also have a date line that indicates the current date of the project. The bars on the Gantt chart represent the individual tasks and display their duration, as well as start and end dates. On this chart, the blue bars represent phases, while the pink bars are minor tasks making up the overall phase. A stippled line can be used to show uncertainty of the duration. Milestones are often shown in the form of diamonds, and they indicate important deadlines or deliverables. To show task dependencies, lines can be used to connect tasks, which help indicating the order in which the tasks must be completed in. To show task progress, you can opt to use percentages, bar shading, or Harvey balls. Now that we have covered what a Gantt chart is, what it contains, and why it's useful, let's explore some use cases. Our first example is a software development project. These types of projects are heavily reliant on dependent tasks. For example, you can't test for functionality before the staging environment is set up, which means that the successor task depends on the completion of a previous one. In software development, it's common to have short time periods called sprints, represented here by bars with diagonal lines. In sprints, a set of work must be completed. In this example, Harvey balls are used for progress of phases and check marks as progress for tasks. In another example, we are looking at another classic project, the planning of an event. Events often don't have many dependencies, but do have a lot of deadlines, meetings, and decisions, which can be highlighted by milestones. Typically, an event follows this formula: planning, promotion, the event itself, and evaluation. It's common practice to group tasks into these phases and color-code the bars for clearer clarification. Another classic Gantt chart use is a marketing campaign. A modern marketing campaign often have lots of moving parts happening simultaneously or in succession. A good approach is to group the individual tasks together into subcategories by the type of marketing activity rather than their position on the timeline. Here, the type of marketing activity is color-coded. A product launch Gantt chart often includes specific milestones like launch day, campaign start, etc. Unlike a software development or a marketing project, they feature coordination between various departments, such as marketing, customer support, sales, and product development. Therefore, this kind of a Gantt chart are a great example of how different departments interlink and collaborate. It also highlights how a Gantt chart serves as an excellent management tool for tracking the responsibilities of individual teams. The bars in this example are colored by department rather than function, and the crucial product launch period is shaded gray to highlight the most critical part of the project. In our last example, we will look at a multiple project Gantt chart. If you have more projects running simultaneously, then you can display them all in one chart. This can be ideal for ensuring deadlines. It's extremely important that these projects are easy to distinguish, so the tasks don't get mixed up. There are several ways to prevent confusion. For example, you can assign different color to tasks and projects or use distinct milestone symbols for each project can also help. If the Gantt chart software supports filters, it can be useful to group tasks by project. As seen on the example on screen, adding comments can help give an overview of the state of the tasks. Let's start creating a Gantt chart from the beginning. First step is to determine if a Gantt chart even is suitable. It has to have the following elements: be more than a simple to-do list, has a deadline and multiple tasks, multiple teams or individuals involved. It's predetermined, meaning that the project's scope is well defined. And lastly, the project has to follow a linear schedule. If the project doesn't have these elements, then another type of project schedule tool is more useful. In Ampler, to create Gantt charts is straightforward. Click on Ampler ribbon, select Ampler charts and insert in PowerPoint. A Gantt chart will instantly appear with a predetermined project timeline, activities, bars, and milestones. All of these elements can easily be customized to fit your preferred look and project timeline, as we will cover in the following steps. In Ampler, there are multiple ways to set up your project timeline. You can, for example, left-click and set the data range for the entire project timeline, or change the start dates and end dates by simply dragging the bars. You can also change start date and end date by right-clicking the Gantt chart and selecting the Excel button. An Excel spreadsheet will appear, allowing you to modify the start dates and end dates, names of the project tasks, bar types, and their levels on the Gantt chart. Want to add more tasks? Right-click and select the plus icon to add. The chart adds them instantly. If you already have a pre-made Excel spreadsheet with dates and durations, you can right-click on the Ampler Gantt chart and choose Establish Excel Link. A separate window will open where you highlight the data range. Once you return to PowerPoint, the Gantt chart changed to fit the new data. Not only can you change the start and end dates or the type of bars, but everything on the Gantt chart can be customized to align with your corporate branding or personal preferences. If you're not using an add-in like Ampler, some of these customizations needs to be done manually. Also, not all tools may offer the same options as Ampler. In Ampler, you can easily create a task list. And adjust dates as follows. You can also easily toggle on and off a responsibility column the following way. Assign tasks to individuals in the responsible column. Add names like before. Make sure to scale the Gantt chart by dragging the corners. With Ampler, it's also easy to change the milestones. simply right under the dates. Make sure to scale them down. To change milestones dates, you can drag them on the chart. Afterwards, scale the chart to fit it all. Now that we've customized our Gantt chart to our preferences, there are just a few minor details to finalize. Add a project title to the chart. You can also change the language of the chart if necessary by left-clicking on the chart, selecting your desired language, and the chart will instantly be translated. It's also possible to save both the chart theme or chart layout to your library or organization, making them accessible for future use. To see more customization options with Ampler for your Gantt chart, visit the article by clicking link below. When you've created your Gantt chart, the work isn't over. While the plan can be crystal clear, anyone who has followed a plan knows it rarely goes exactly as expected. Therefore, be sure to track the progress of the project to make sure deadlines are kept. Monitor and modify the project budget and schedule. Reassign tasks if needed. Now that we created a Gantt chart with Ampler, I will now show how to do this in PowerPoint and Excel without add-ons. Now that we have gone through the basic guide of how to make a Gantt chart, while simultaneously using an add-in like Ampler, we'll now show you how to make Gantt charts in PowerPoint and Excel without using add-ins. In PowerPoint, you can either use PowerPoint's own native chart templates or make one yourself. Let's start with the template. To use them, you have to do the following. Select the New tab in the left pane. Search Gantt chart to view the 5 native Gantt chart templates. Choose one and click Create to generate a PowerPoint Gantt chart. After choosing your Gantt chart template, you can edit the tasks and timeline. You will see icons in the top left and bottom right corners, representing the start and end dates. Edit them by clicking on the icons and enter the relevant dates. You can adjust the length of the bars by simply clicking on them and drag to adjust. The start and end dates of the timeline can also be dragged this way. To change the colors, click the object and choose Shape Fill in the Format tab. You can also customize the outlines and apply shape effects. If you prefer to create your own PowerPoint Gantt chart instead of using the native templates, follow these steps. Go to the Insert tab, select Chart, and choose the Stacked Bar chart. A chart with an associated data table will appear. Adjust the columns to fit your project by renaming them to Start Date, End Date, and Duration. To make sure you have the right number format, highlight the values in the Dates columns. Right-click and choose Format Cells option. Select the Date option and your preferred number format. Enter your project tasks. Start dates and end dates. To adjust the bars to make it fit the duration you need, type the following formula. $, and C2, minus then $, and B2 in cell D as shown. Copy it down all the way. If you accidentally remove the blue box, drag the corners to get all the tasks back on the chart. The chart still contains colored bars for the start dates and end dates. To remove the end dates, right-click the chart and select the filter icon. Uncheck End Date. Click Apply. Now, remove the fill and line color of the dark blue bars by selecting them and choosing No Fill and No Outline. The remaining bars now represent the task's duration. However, the Gantt chart is still in reverse order. In order to change this, select the task names, select Format Axis, mark the checkbox for categories in reverse order. There you have it, a Gantt chart in PowerPoint. Now, you can remove the legend and add a title. Remember, you can add dependency lines and change the color of the font and bars as needed. You can also create a Gantt chart in Excel by using a stacked bar chart in the following way. Create a data table with separate columns for project tasks, start date, and duration. Highlight all the data in your table. Go to the Insert tab, and from the Charts group, select Insert Bar Chart. The chart will initially be shown in reverse order. To change this, highlight the categories on the vertical axis. Select Format Axis, scroll down, and check the box for Categories in Reverse Order. Now let's make it look like a Gantt chart. Right-click on the larger bars. Select Format Data Series. Go to Fill and Line. Choose No Fill and No Border. After this, make the chart more condensed by doing the following. Right-click on the grid lines. Select Format Axis, then choose the Horizontal Value Axis. Adjust the minimum and maximum bounds to make the chart more condensed. The final step is to add a chart title. There you have it, a Gantt chart in Excel. When you have created your Gantt chart, there are some guidelines to ensure that you have created an effective chart. These are as follows. You have specified the project scheduling by clearly outlining the start dates, end dates, and key milestones. You have broken down the project by dividing the project into manageable tasks. You have defined the task dependencies by clearly indicating dependent tasks. You have made sure that the vertical axis has the same scale. You have included a buffer time by adding stippled bars to account for unexpected delays or issues. You have differentiated phases and tasks, for example, by using color to distinguish between phases, tasks, or types of work. You show the project's progress by the use of Harvey balls or other indicators. You regularly update the Gantt chart by keeping the chart current to reflect the project's status, as unforeseen events are likely to occur. As mentioned earlier, there are some instances where a Gantt chart is useful for projects and others where they aren't. Gantt charts are useful for projects that have a clear schedule, tasks, and task dependencies. If you need to manage and allocate resources, if you want to track the progress of the project, if you need to report the status of the project to stakeholders, if your project have a hard deadline. As you can see, Gantt charts are useful for nearly every project, but there are some instances where another tool might be more useful. For example, if a project's focus is on creativity and generating innovative ideas, then deadlines are often secondary, as the success is determined by the inventiveness of the deliverables from the project team. Agile or iterative work processes are more useful for these. If it's an agile project, it can be difficult to track in a Gantt chart due to their emphasis on flexibility and adaptability in small, iterative cycles. If it's an iterative project, as they are by their nature not linear, as tasks can be repeated in cycles, the circular nature of these projects make Gantt charts unhelpful. Now let's look at some other project tools that can be used as substitutes or as a complementary to Gantt charts. We will focus on some which are especially useful for agile or iterative projects. One of those is the Kanban board, which is a tool that is used to represent workflow of tasks. It uses columns and cards to display tasks in different stages of completion, such as to do, review, in progress, and done. One of the benefits of this tool is the work in progress or WIP, which limits the maximum number of tasks allowed in each stage. It helps prevent overloading. Sometimes Kanban boards can include swim lanes, which are horizontal rows that separate work or teams within the project. Kanban boards are way more flexible than a Gantt chart as they focus on a given number of tasks and not fixed timelines, allowing for easier adaptation and change in the project, making them ideal for iterative or agile projects. Another good tool for agile or iterative projects are Scrum boards. This management tool is designed to support agile methodologies such as sprints. The main point of a Scrum board is to help the project team focus on a limited number of tasks at any given time. The board is divided into columns such as to do, in progress, in review, and done. Tasks move horizontally across these columns until they are marked as done. Tasks that are not currently being worked on are kept in the Scrum backlog, out of focus for the time being. Another key feature is the increment, which are the specific deliverables the team aims to complete by the end of the sprint. While Gantt charts provide a structured and detailed plan, with some flexibility, Scrum boards enable teams to adapt quickly to change and obstacles. This makes them particularly effective for iterative and agile work, where the team cycles through the same processes repeatedly and where change in plans happens frequently. A timeline chart is a simple form of project management tool that only focuses on the main tasks and milestones. It provides an overall roadmap of a project and therefore useful as a complement to a Gantt chart, especially as a representing tool for stakeholders in the project. A PERT chart is a project management tool that allows managers to schedule a project by providing an overview of the dependent tasks. The chart uses nodes, often represented by rectangles, to signify milestones connected by arrows representing the sequence of tasks. Divergent arrows indicate tasks that can be completed simultaneously, with the critical path are highlighted in the middle of the chart. PERT charts excel at showing dependencies and the project planning process, but they are not suitable for tracking project progress as they do not contain task progress. Therefore, they are better suited as a pre-plan before actually dividing the project among the project team. While flowcharts are often used to illustrate how an algorithm works or how a customer journey is designed, they can also be used by project managers together with a Gantt chart. Project management can use these to improve project efficiency by logically show how objectives in a project is determined, and aid status reporting by clearly showing how completed tasks are reported. Flowcharts are best used as a guide for planning project tasks and to show the approval phase of tasks, ensuring that tasks are completed as intended. Although it has been many years since Henry Gantt popularized the Gantt chart, it remains the most frequently used project planning tool in the world. The Gantt chart effectively maps the timeline, tasks, milestones, and dependencies, making the project schedule clear for everyone involved. It also efficiently highlights who is responsible for each part of the project. Adaptable to nearly every type of project, except for agile or iterative ones, it excels at tracking progress like no other project management tool. Add-ins like Ampler help creating and updating Gantt charts quicker and easier. But Ampler is more than just a Gantt chart tool. It's a comprehensive productivity add-on for Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. For more information about Ampler, watch our YouTube channel or read our insightful articles. Are you already convinced that Ampler can help you? Download a free trial of Ampler and Ampler charts by clicking the link below. See you in the next video.